Let's learn a little bit about Leil Seder. So, Bezrat Hashem, this Monday we're going to celebrate Leil Seder. As I mentioned before, based on many opinions, this is the holiest night of the year. I know a lot of people think that Yom Kippur is the holiest night of the year, but we know that Yom Kippur is Leil Seder is the holiest night of the year, because what can be achieved that night and what happens that night. And this is a night that a certain energy will shine in the world, and you want to make sure that you're there for the show. Now, I mentioned many times, and I don't want to repeat it too much, that the word holiday in Hebrew is Chag. And Chag comes from the word lachug, to go around in a circle. The hands of a clock is called mechogim, because they go around. So we call it a Chag. People think Chag is a festival. Chag is because it goes around, the days go around in the circle of the year, and then they come back to a specific day, and whatever happened on that day repeats itself. Now, 3,300 and something years ago, when Hashem took the Jews out of Mitzrayim, He Himself, Ani velo malach, Ani velo saraf, that's what we're going to read in the Haggadah, came down to Mitzrayim and took the Jews out of Mitzrayim into freedom. Now, first we have to understand what's Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is not the country that is 500-600 kilometers south of us. Mitzrayim is a spiritual place. Now, who came down to Mitzrayim originally? Yaakov and his 12 tribes, his 12 kids. Okay, first Yosef came. If you want to really go back, first Avraham Avinu came, checked out the land, then he went out. And then in the time when Avraham Avinu made a deal with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Brit Ben Abtarim, Hashem told Avraham Avinu, your great-grandkids will go to Egypt for slavery. And later on, the story goes, and Yosef came to Mitzrayim. But really, who came to Mitzrayim to settle there? Yaakov Avinu and 12 tribes. Yaakov Avinu is representing the neshama, our soul. So our soul went into Mitzrayim, into Egypt. And who came to Mitzrayim with Yaakov? The 12 tribes. If you're following our monthly class about the month, you remember that I'm talking that each month corresponds to a star, corresponds to a tribe, corresponds to a certain sense. So all 12 tribes went into Mitzrayim, all 12 senses of the neshama went to Mitzrayim too. So Yaakov, the neshama, and the 12 tribes, the 12 senses went into Mitzrayim. What is Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim is a place of impurity. A place of impurity means that there's no holiness there. Holiness is presented or compared to light. And if the light is removed from something, then what will be exchanging the light will be a void of nothing. Then the impurity will come in. So anything that you'll say tameh is impure, it means that there's no holiness there. The light of the holiness was removed. If I now go and lie, and I damaged the spiritual vessel by lying, then the light was removed right now. It's called siluka or. If you want to compare it to something physical, it's almost like taking a balloon and taking the air out. What's going to happen if you take the air out? The balloon will deflate and become again a piece of rubber. So when I damage something in one way or another, then the light gets removed. This is called siluka or. Now anything that is impure, anything that there's no godly light there, there's no kedusha, then impurity will come in. This is the concept of Mitzrayim, a place of impurity. Now, what is this place of impurity? A place where physical lusts and desires are very, very strong. So, not physically, but spiritually we're all in Mitzrayim. Because I have very strong lusts and desires for physical things. That's it. Doesn't matter right now. It can be chocolate, it can be cigarettes, can be wine, can be marital relations, can be whatever it is. But I have desires, strong ones. I'm not talking about thinking of, okay, I can handle it. No. I have strong desires for physical things. This is called te'ava. Now it can be a te'ava, a desire for something that is allowed. It can be a te'ava for something that is forbidden. But the point is that Mitzrayim is a place where I cannot control my te'avot, my inclination, my desires and my lust to something, and especially for something that is forbidden. So the neshama goes into Mitzrayim. Yaakov went into Mitzrayim. He didn't want to go there. It was called Ervat Haaretz, the most disgusting place of the world. And Yaakov Avinu had to go there. And the neshama has to go into Mitzrayim. Nobody's asking you if you want to go there or not. The neshama is placed in Mitzrayim. Why? Because you have to do an operation that is called Yetziat Mitzrayim. You have to go out of your Mitzrayim. That's why all of us have challenges and problems. Not because I did something wrong. People have the opinion that I'm suffering because I did something wrong. No. We are suffering because the neshama had to go into Mitzrayim. Hashem told Avram Avinu, your children will go to Mitzrayim. And you know that Avram Avinu didn't say anything. Didn't even argue. Go a few parashot back, when Avram Avinu tried to save the city of Sodom. If you remember, we spoke about it last class. Avram Avinu was debating and fighting, so to say, Hashem, don't destroy the city. And there's a whole argument going there. Avraham Avinu says, maybe there's 40 tzaddikim in the city. You're going to destroy the whole city? Hashem says, there's no 40 tzaddikim there. So he says, okay, maybe there's 35. Hashem answers, there's no 35 of them. He says, maybe there's 30, maybe there's 20, maybe there's 10. Avraham Avinu was literally becoming the advocate of the city of sin. And at the end, Hashem says, I don't accept your what you're presenting. There's no tzaddikim there, I'm destroying the city. The Torah took a whole chapter just to describe how Avraham Avinu is negotiating with God not to destroy Mitzrayim. And then God, in a different scene, when he signs the deal that is called the Brit Ben Abtarim, the covenant that they took an animal, they cut it in half and they crossed through it, Hashem tells Avraham Avinu, your great grandkids will go to Mitzrayim, to slavery, for 400 years. Avraham Avinu doesn't even blink. Okay. Doesn't even negotiate. Because he knew he has to go there. First of all, Hashem said to Avraham Avinu, everybody has to go through Gehinnom. Avraham Avinu says, listen, I don't want my kids to go to Gehinnom. So Hashem says, okay, what do you suggest? So Avraham Avinu says, send them to exile. I'd rather have exile than Gehinnom. Gehinnom is hell. I rather them go through what's called Kuch HaBarzel, to get crushed. Put it here. Do it here in this world. Let them be in their Egypt. Then do it up there. So Avraham Avinu approved. So 3,300 years ago, they went into this crushing machine, Kuch HaBarzel, it's called. And they had to be slaved and to be crushed. There was actually a sweetening of the judgment, because it was supposed to be 400 years and it ended up being only 210 years. And the real slavery was only 84 years, more than 210 years. Even though we're talking about an 84-year Holocaust. We get affected by the Holocaust that was 75 years ago. This was an 84-year Holocaust. So Avraham Avinu allowed it to happen because he knew the neshama has to go into galut, into exile. Why? Because we need to come out of Mitzrayim. We have to do an action that is called Yetziat Mitzrayim. That's why our sages say, Bechol dor vador, chayav adam lirot atzmo כאילו יצא ממצרים. Every generation, a person has to see himself like he came out of Egypt. Meaning that I have a motion in me that I have to go out of my limitation. And what is exactly Yetziat Mitzrayim? Besides going out of my limitation, is revealing my soul. Each and every one of us has a soul, a very holy and precious soul, and I don't know my soul. I don't know anything about it. I never met it. I don't know how it looks. I don't know how to talk to it. I don't know what it wants, what it likes, but each soul is individual. And the same way that the exterior of ours is different, the soul is different. You will not find one identical human being. Billions of people throughout the generations, not one of them is identical. There's no such a thing. Even identical twins are still not identical. To our eye, they might look similar, but they're not identical. So you're looking here at billions of people, because we have in our generation about 7 and a half, I don't know, I didn't count. 50 years ago there was also 7. And 50 years ago was 6.9. And 50 years before that was 6.8. We're talking about billions of people here. You don't have one person that looks like the other. And the proof to that is in the finger. There's no identical fingerprints. You can recycle social security numbers. You can't have an identical fingerprint. There's no such a thing as an identical fingerprint. Billions of people. And that's just a fingerprint. Now science has found out that the eye, the details in the eye are 10 times more, if not 100 or 1,000 times more detailed than the fingerprint. And in the later, I think they already start having it now, this certain device that can read your eye and identify the person.
You'll be able to unlock your iPhone with that.
Yeah, 100%. Now they do everything, like you say, with a fingerprint. So if my fingerprint is not identical, so much more so my soul. So my soul is completely different than any other soul in the world. So my soul is very unique. And you know what? I don't even know my soul. I don't know anything about it. I know about myself. I know that I like chocolates, and I know I like coffee, and I know, excuse me? We don't know our soul. Yetziat Mitzrayim is to reveal my soul. I'm talking about my neshama, not my animal soul. I have a neshama. I have a holy soul in me. I don't know it, I need to reveal it. This is Yetziat Mitzrayim, to reveal my soul. How do I reveal my soul? It's like revealing a diamond. You ever saw a diamond that came out of the mine? It's a black rock. And if you didn't see it, go and Google it. It's a black rock. Then you start chiseling it. And then you start refining it and shaving it and shaping it until you get a perfect diamond. And if you shaved it 1 micromillimeter too much, then you lose value in the diamond. And the more refined it is, the more carat the diamond is. And one diamond can look to the naked eye very nice. A professional will come and look at it and be like, it's worthless. 1 millimeter there is scraped the wrong way. So our neshama is a diamond. It has to be revealed. It has to be pulled out of Egypt. This is Yetziat Mitzrayim. This is a short version of the whole concept. I have to reveal my neshama. And my neshama, my soul, will be covered with dirt, with all sorts of bad thoughts, bad habits, bad actions, junk that I accumulated throughout my life. I have to clean it up and I have to get it out of Egypt. Now the rule is that I can't do it myself. I cannot pull myself out of exile. The Talmud says, "En asur matir atzmo mibet ha'asurim." A prisoner cannot take himself out of his own cell. I have to come and prepare myself, and then the rest has to be done by Hashem. So we are all in Mitzrayim. We're all stuck in our limitations with our desires to all sorts of forbidden things, desires for permitted things. Permitted things that there's no prohibition to eat now a cookie. But to eat 20 of them, that's already a problem. But there's no prohibition. I'm not eating something wrong. There's nothing wrong with the cookie. As long as it's kosher, it's fine to eat it. But eating 20 of them and in a hazardic way, that's not good. I have to control it. And everybody has, don't think you're different, or don't think somebody's better than you or you better than somebody else. We all have these desires, and they're very, very strong, and we're fighting them on a daily basis, and each one lusts and desires something different and has a weakness to something. And this goes to permitted things and forbidden things. But we're all stuck in Mitzrayim. And we have bad habits, and we have all the things that limit us, and I'm not free. We talked about it last class. I do not want to repeat it over and over. But we are not free. The real freedom is that I know how to control all my desire and urges. That's what we spoke about last class, if you weren't here and you want to see it online. That when I think that I'm free, and I can do whatever I want, that's not freedom. That's just being wild. And I explained that Paro has many angles. One of the ways to understand Paro, you take the letters and you switch them, and it becomes hafra'a. Hafra'a is something that disturbs you. And Paro also you can switch the letters and you can read it as Parua. Parua is wild. The real freedom is that you know how to control your urges and to control your mouth and to control your thoughts and to control everything. This is the real freedom. So I need to go out of my Mitzrayim. If I don't think, or if you don't think that you're stuck in Mitzrayim, that's already a problem. We are all stuck in Mitzrayim, in a state of limitation, some type of limitation, and one of the limitations that I have is that I desire and I lust many things, that I can't control myself. Comes the night of Pesach, and is giving me the opportunity to be pulled out of this place of limitation. And it cannot be done by me. I can just come. You can bring the camel to the well, you can make it drink. That's it. So Hashem came down that night of Pesach to remove the Jews, the Bnei Israel, out of slavery. If you notice, when I talk about my near-death experience, I explain how when I grew up, I learned that Pesach is just, a fairy tale. But really what happened is that night, a very special, powerful, godly light came down to the world that took the Jews out of Mitzrayim, but more than that, it permeated the power for the rest of the generation, for any individual to go out of his limitation. Which means that night we were given the code how you go out of your Mitzrayim, how you reveal your neshama. That's why Sfirat HaOmer is so important, because it took them 7 weeks to refine themselves, to start cleaning their vessels, building vessels that when it was time to receive the Torah, they were able to get it. So if I don't prepare myself the right way on Shavuot, I'm not going to get the Torah. And it all starts on Leil Seder, which means that every detail of that night is extremely important, and you have to make sure that you know everything and that you follow everything. That's why I told you before, it's called Leil Seder. Seder is organizing everything, but it's also because it has to go in order. Seder is order, which means first I clean the chametz, then I burn the chametz, then I check, then everything has to come in its order. So we can literally sit now for 3 weeks just talking about everything that has to do with the Seder. There's a lot of unbelievable information, but I want to just quickly go through the idea that you have what to tap into. Now, if you notice, the Leil Seder is surrounding one thing, and that's reading the Haggadah. This is the highlight of the night. Everybody has to read the Haggadah. And we have all sorts of rituals that we do, and each and every one of them is very important, and do not skip it. You see that the whole Seder is surrounding what's called ke'ara, a dish. And on this dish, I have a bunch of things. I have an egg, I have maror, I have all sorts of things on it. This is, believe it or not, the highlight of the day. I need all these things. It has to be particular in order to tap into this godly light. Now again, just to reassure that you understand, this godly light, it's not a light that comes from a candle or a light bulb. God comes down to the world in such a revealed way. I mean, we don't see it with our eyes, but in such a revealed way that the entire world is, the energy of the universe at that night is totally different. Totally different. And if you are a little bit sensitive, you go out to the street, you'll feel the energy on Pesach is a totally different energy. I want to tap into this energy. Why? Because it's going to benefit me for the rest of the year. What is it going to benefit me? It's going to give me the power to overpower and to overcome my limitations, and to overpower my desires and bad habits. Any bad habit that you have, this is the night to tap into some source of power that will carry you throughout the year to fight it, to be aware of it, to have the energy to battle it. This is the night. And much, much more. So I have to do all these things that look completely ridiculous in order to tap into this energy. So the first thing I have to set is a bowl. It's called ke'ara. And in this bowl has 10 elements corresponding to the 10 sfirot. I have to now start fixing all the sfirot. That's why in Sfirat HaOmer I'm fixing all 7 midot, 7 times. But on Leil Seder I'm starting to fix the mochin. Now, this is not, we don't have the time to explain it, but in the sfirot, just to give a short overview, it's divided into 2 groups. The mochin, what's called intellect, and the midot, the attributes. Some count chesed, they count the mochin as chokhmah, bina, and dat. Some count it keter, chokhmah, bina. It doesn't matter how you count it right now, how you look at it, there's explanations why, but this is the mochin, this is the intellect. Everything is birth in that level. Now, if the mochin is getting the right shefa, the right energy, the hashpa from above, from the sphere of keter, it's birthing it there, then it can give it over to the midot, to the attributes. Throughout Sfirat HaOmer, I'm refining my midot, from chesed till malchut. But on Pesach, on the week of Pesach, and especially the Leil Seder, that's when I'm birthing all the shefa, the abundance in the mochin, in chokhmah, bina, and dat. So there are 10 elements in the ke'ara. First, we have 3 matzahs, if you remember how it looks. We put 3 matzahs, one on top of the other, and then on top of it we put the ke'ara. The 3 matzahs are corresponding to chokhmah, bina, and dat. Then I have in the ke'ara 6 simanim. And we're going to go through the simanim. But there's 6 things that I put in the ke'ara. These correspond to the 6 midot, each and every one of them, and we'll go through it in a few minutes. And then the actual plate, you have to have a plate. This is called the ke'ara. This corresponds to malchut, because everything is on the ke'ara. So this is not just to only raise the interest of the kids. Now, so I have 3 matzot that correspond to the mochin, because I have to now influence and give some type of an abundance into the intellect, into the mochin, and this is done through the matzah. That's why I have to eat the matzah. Now, let's go quickly through the simanim. The simanim is what I put on the ke'ara. The first one that I put on is called zroa. Zroa, some people take a neck of a chicken, some people take a piece of meat, but you have to burn it. The zroa corresponds to the midah of chesed. And you're going to see, Be'ezrat Hashem, when you join us on Monday, when you make the seder, then the zroa goes on the top right. Why? Because it comes from chesed, it has to be on the tzad yamin. Then the next side, I will put an egg, a hard-boiled egg. And the reason why I put a hard-boiled egg, because that's the only food that when you cook it becomes hard. All the rest of the food, when you cook it, becomes soft. So the egg comes from the sphere of gvura. From the left side, you put the egg on the left side. And after that comes what's called maror. Maror comes from the sphere of tiferet. And you would think that maror is something bitter, that it should come from gvura. But the maror comes from the side of tiferet, because the numerical value of maror is mavet. The same exact numerical count of the word mavet. Mavet is death. And the mavet means that you take something from the left side and you move it to the right side. You actually transform the gvura into sweetness. We're going to go through it in a second. Then we have on the right side another thing, and that is called charoset. Charoset, I don't know how you call it in English, but that's you make it from walnuts and you make something sweet. How you call it? Charoset. Okay, charoset with an accent. Charoset. So that comes from the sphira of netzach. Netzach is kav yamin. It will be on the right side of the plate. Why charoset? Because it's sweet. Sweetness. So we're sweetening the right side of chesed. Then on the left, we'll put karpas. Karpas can be, some people put lettuce, some people will put what? Celery, yeah. Potato. Karpas has the letter, if you switch the letter, it's samech parech. Samech is 60, Shishim ribo, 600,000 souls went into parech. Parech is to slavery. And I now able to reverse it. Go out of parech means slavery. And then the last one is called chazeret. I don't know how you say chazeret in English. Maybe you say chazeret. But chazeret corresponds to the sphira of Yesod. That's the last siman, and we put it on the left. Now, again, like I said, there's not going to be much time to go through everything now. We're going to talk more during Leil Seder, and unfortunately we can't record it. But the ones of you who join us, we will go through more interesting details. But the reason why we call it, again, order, because we have to go in order. First, we have to clean the chametz. Then we have to check the chametz. Then we have to burn the chametz. We have to go through different orders. What did we do then? We took out the 10 klipot. Because as a pose against the 10 sfirot, there are 10 klipot. By doing all that, I now took all the klipot from their domain. Everything that I told you up to now. Now, it's time to take the light out from its source. So by checking the chametz, burning the chametz, cleaning the chametz, I'm now revealing the klipa. I'm taking it out of its power. Now that I'm free of impurity, there's no impurity. If you notice, after 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, you feel this, you burn your chametz, you feel like you took a load off. There's no klipot anymore. From chatzot of Leil Pesach, that's it, you annul the klipa. Now it's time for the holiness to come in. Now I have to bring in the light. The light that I bring in on Leil Seder comes from the level of our neshama that is called chaya. And I have to now reveal it. A very holy light comes from the darga that is called chaya. This is a level that we never reach. For the ones of you who attend the class of the gates of reincarnation, we only reach the level of neshama. We don't even reach to the level of chaya, and definitely not yechidah. On that night, we actually reveal now the light from the darga of chaya. This is where I start. Now I sit down and I start the seder. All the rest will start being developed in Sfirat HaOmer. But if I did not reveal that on Leil Seder, Sfirat HaOmer is worthless. If I did not celebrate Pesach and I'm counting the Omer, I'm wasting my time. It has to start on Leil Seder. This is the night where it starts, when I'm pulling to the world, to my neshama, revealing a godly light from the level of chaya. Now I can start refining all my sfirot throughout the next 7 weeks. And during the 7 weeks, I'm starting to build vessels. Each night when I say Gvura sheba Gvura, Tiferet sheba Chesed, whatever I say, I'm building one vessel, one clay. Building it and refining it. So when will come the holiday of Shavuot, I can receive the Torah. It's not receiving a plant with a flower, what they give now. They give you a plant. You receive the Torah, what's called B'pnimiyut. The neshama receives it. Now, the most important thing is going by the order of the Seder. If you make a mishmash, or you mix things, or you skip things, you're messing it all up. You're missing the point. Some people want to do it fast, or they're like, let me just read it real quick. No. You have to go through the order. It's extremely important. There are a lot of mystical explanations. There's a lot of depth in it. Every little thing that we do has to be done the right way and the right order. Now, in Kabbalah, and we're not going to touch it, I just want to mention it that you know, we know there are two types of what's called mochin. There's Ima and there's Abba. The ones of you who learn a little bit of Kabbalah or a little bit of Zohar, you know what I'm talking about. There are two types of intellects. One of them is the father, it's called Abba, and one of them is called Ima, Chochma and Bina. These are the two sfirot. The matzah and the wine, these are the most important thing in the Seder. We eat matzah and we drink wine. We have to drink 4 cups of wine, and we have to eat enough amount of matzah. The matzah corresponds to the mochin, what's called Abba, and the wine corresponds to Ima, which means that if you take now human beings, a father and a mother, in order for them to birth a child, to give birth for a child, they have to have relations. They have to have marital relations. This is what's called a zivug, a yichud, a unity between these two individuals. That's how they can bring down a new life. In order for me to bring down any type of energy, a shefa, an abundance, into the midot, the mother and the father, the mochin, the sfirot of Chochma and Bina have to unite. They have to become together in order to birth the midot. This is what's happening on Leil Seder. If you miss that, you mess it up. And you cannot work on your midot throughout Sfirat Omer if you did not birth the shefa that night with the matzah and wine. So every little thing here is extremely important. Now we have to eat what's called kezait. Kezait is a measurement. Kezait is 29 grams of matzah. Now you don't wait before the night, we go about. It's better to eat more, but the minimum is 29 grams, what's called kezait, and you have to eat 4 of them. And throughout the meal, then we're gonna note now when we're eating them. The reason why we eat 4 kezait is corresponding to the 4 types of mochin. There are different types of mochin, of intellects, that we have to birth. Now, in the entire Seder of Pesach, there are 15 stages, and the kids always sing it in the Seder. Kadesh Ochatz, they sing it, right? So there are 15 stages. Everyone is very important. Each one of them is extremely important. You cannot skip it, and you cannot jump over one of them. It has to be very, very, again, organized. Seder is organized. The first thing that we do is we do Kadesh. Kadesh is we have to do Kiddush. Doesn't matter if it's Pesach, doesn't matter if it's Shabbat, we have to do Kiddush. This is the first cup of wine. We have to drink 4 cups of wine. And then there's reasons why we drink 4 cups of wine, but that is the first cup of wine. Now, of course, it has to be, I'm not even mentioning that, but I will, it has to be kosher wine. It cannot be not kosher wine. And better if it's red wine. And if you can't stand red wine, then buy a kosher grape juice for Kiddush. And it's important that it will be tasty for you. You can't suffer. So if you can't stand the wine, or for whatever reason you can't drink wine, then drink grape juice. But grape juice that is kosher for the cups of wine. Now, each time you drink a cup of wine, it has to have a certain measurement that is called the revi'it. And this is 86 grams of liquid. And 86, I think it's called the cc in English. Now, just that you understand, this is about 120 or 140. 86 grams is about like that. Now, you can drink a big wine, a big cup, but the minimum is the 86 gram. Now, all opinion goes by that the cup has to be full till the end. Can't fill it up to the top, sorry. Now, if you don't want to drink so much wine, make sure you get small cups. And if you don't mind, then it doesn't matter the size of the cup. But the minimum is 86 grams. This is called revi'it. It's something like that. So first of all, we do the kiddush. The next thing they do is urchatz. We have to wash our hands. We have to start the ceremony by washing our hands. You do 3 on the right hand, 3 on the left hand. If you're a lefty, 3 on the left one, 3 on the right hand. This is done without a bracha. You don't say a bracha. You don't have to take too many notes, because if you're doing the seder with us, you'll get all the instructions as we're doing it. If you're not doing with us, I'm sure that whoever conducts the seder knows what he's doing, hopefully, and they'll tell you what to do. Now, the next thing that we do is we do karpas. And we have to take something that is adama. Some people do onion, some people do potato. And there is 2 levels of mochin, and we're not going to get into it. And I'm sure many people are saying, no, get into it. But there's no time to get into it. There's 2 levels of what's called mochin. There's mochin de katnut and mochin de gadlut. Mochin de katnut is a very small, katnut is small, very limited level of mochin. And I want to reach to the level of what's called mochin de gadlut. The karpas is the mochin of katnut. It's still a very low level. And we dip it in the salt water and we say a blessing, Borei Pri Ha'adama. Then we go to the level that is called yachatz. Yachatz means to break. You take the middle matzah of the pile. I mean, the 3 matzahs, they correspond to Kohen, Levi, and Israel. They correspond to Chochmah, Bina, and Dat, and many other things. You pull the middle matzah out and you break it. One piece will be big, one piece will be small. It's inevitable. You cannot get an equal piece. It doesn't matter how hard you're going to try. One will always be bigger than the other. The small piece you keep in the cover. The big piece, Some people, we're not going to go into all the customs because many people have different customs. Most people, their custom is to break it into 5 pieces, and that's the afikoman. You wrap it, you hide it, and you put it away. Now let the kids start finding it. The afikoman you eat later on at the end of the Seder. Then you have another part, it's called Magid. Magid is the most important thing, and this is reading the Haggadah. Everybody has to read the Haggadah. Even though if there's one person reading it, everybody else has to read it quietly. In most Seders, they make a round. Prepare yourself, because in our Seder that's what we do. If you're shy, let me know in front and before, and we're not going to make you read. But we make everybody participate, and everybody reads a little portion. If you don't want to, then tell me before, or just naturally skip to the next one. But you still have to read. And even if I'm reading out loud, Avadim Aynu B'Mitzrayim, you have to read. You have to read it. You have to say it. If you did not say it, you did not do this part that is called Magid. And you have to say it loud enough that you can hear it. You can whisper it. And if you don't know the Hebrew, then I would suggest to just learn to even just say the actual words in Hebrew, even if you don't understand. And if you don't even know how to read Hebrew at all, then read it in English or whatever language you know. But you have to read the Haggadah. And you know why this is so important? Because this is what fixes my blemishes with my mouth. So all year long I lie, I cheat, I say lashon hara, I curse, and many other things. This is the tikkun for dibur. So just read the Haggadah throughout the Pesach. You're doing a tikkun for all your lashon hara and all your lying and your cheating and all that. It's extremely important. That's why even if you do not understand Hebrew, but you know how to read Hebrew, read it in Hebrew. Just say the words in Hebrew. And if it's very hard for you, then read a little bit in Hebrew, then the rest in English. But you have to read the Haggadah. A lot of people just sit like this, and they're like, wow, they enjoy the... No. Read it. It's extremely important. Now, what do we read? We read the story of Mitzrayim. The story in Hebrew is called Sipur. Sipur comes from the word Sfirot. And Sipur also comes from the same root of Sapir. Sapir is to enlighten. To lighten something up. So when I tell the story, I'm telling the story of what's happened there. Basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing on me, I'm enlightening on me, in my root of my neshama, this godly light. So by me telling the story, I'm activating this unbelievable godly shine that shines on me and shines on the root of my neshama, that will affect all my sfirot in my neshama. Just by telling the story. And I have to understand the story. So if you don't understand the Hebrew, again, read it in English. You have to understand what it says. Even though you're starving, don't come starving. Eat something in the afternoon. We're going to eat at 11 o'clock at night. Make sure that you're well rested, because people get very aggravated in the Seder. Seder is relaxed. Everybody's calm. No anger. No problems. Nobody should upset you. Seder is relaxed. Come with your pillow. I don't have enough pillows to give everybody. Come with your pillow. Be comfortable. There's no anger. Please eat before Seder, because you eat at 12 o'clock at night, at 11 o'clock at night, depending where you're doing it. You cannot come into the Seder hungry. People start nibbling over, they start eating the lettuce. When are we eating? When are we eating? Eat. Eat something at 5 in the afternoon, that you're not going to be starving. Everything has to be calm. You have to tell the story. You have to understand the story. It's extremely, extremely important. Next, we have what's called rachza. Again, we wash our hands. After that, we do what's called motzi matzah. We take out the matzah and we say 2 blessings. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz and al achilat matzah. You don't have to write too many things. I know you can write. I'm just saying, don't you remember everything? We're going to go through the Haggadah. I'm just telling you the order. After that, we have to eat 29 grams of matzah times 2. Again, don't start measuring. You don't have to come with a scale. The person who runs the Seder will give you a piece. And it's about this size of shmura matzah. Now, the thing is that usually, if you go by the average shmura matzah, you have to eat 2/3. That's what you have to eat. So some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller. The average size of a shmura matzah Take that, 2/3 of that, that's the 2/3 you have to eat. Now, it has to be eaten in 9 minutes. So you can't just schmooze and have a piece and start talking. So how was your day? You have to be quiet, you say a bracha, you don't talk, and you have to eat it within 9 minutes. You have to, some people go even to try to eat it within 2 minutes. They just inhale it. But it's extremely important that you crush it with your teeth. It's extremely important because everything that I do throughout the night will take away from the suffering from the entire year. If I have to crush myself all year round, every bite that I give in the matzah on Leil Seder, I'm removing one challenge out of my year. And eating matzah is a challenge. It's not soft. It hurts you in the inside. If you have soft teeth, it will hurt your gums. It's not easy to eat matzah. But I have to, some people just put it in and they swallow it. You have to crush it. Crush the matzah. You're crushing everything that night, and you're going to cancel everything that you're going to need to crush in the next year. Now, you have to do it throughout 9 minutes. And you don't talk. It's not time to eat small pieces. You got to get it down, and you got to get it down fast, and don't eat. You can't talk. Because the same way you don't talk between the washing and the eating, and on a regular Shabbat, you don't talk while you're eating the matzah. It's not the time to talk. Now, extremely important thing, there's a lot of details that are missing. It has to be eaten in a leaning to the side. Has to be. This is called haseva. Sorry, I did this side. You eat on this side. Everybody has to eat on the leaning, not only the person who does the seder. You have to do everything what the seder does. After that, we do what's called we do maror and korech. That we take the lettuce, we put the maror in it, we eat that, we say a bracha, we do the sandwich with the matzah, have to do the whole thing. This is, in a very short explanation, to take anything that is bitter in my life and to turn it into sweet. That's why I eat maror on Pesach. That's why you want to pour a lot of maror there. Some people are like, okay, I'm just going to, take an example, a sample. Take the maror, put it on your chasa, put it on your, and eat till you tear. Eat till steams are coming out of your ears. Because if you notice, if you eat it and you chew it and you chew it and you chew it, it will turn to be sweet. Most people, they chew 3 chews and swallow it, they gulp it down. Chew the maror a few times till literally steams come out of your eyes. At some point you will notice it turns to be sweet. Try it. The point of eating the maror like that is you sweeten all the bitter things in your life for the next year. So you suffer for 2 minutes, and the next year you're not going to have. Now this is not a guarantee. Don't come to me next year and tell me I ate 2 pounds of maror and I had a lot of problems. That's not going to solve your problems. It's just going to make things sweeter, and the things that are bitter in your life will be sweetened. Then we go through a whole order. We do shulchan orech. We have to have a meal, and you have to have a good meal with a lot of good food, and you have to enjoy the meal. After that, we have tzafun. We have to eat another zait, kezait of the matzah. This comes already from the afikoman. Everything is very important. Then we have to do barech. We have to say birkat hamazon. Everything has to be nice, calm. Singing, we add all the singings and the tunes to it. You have to do it nice, and everything has to be together. Then we do Hallel. We have to say again Hallel. And we have to do that also with singing, and you do it with a lot of, most people like, let's do it fast. Why are you singing right now? Let's get to the dessert. There's no dessert, there's no cakes. The dessert is maybe fruit. So there's not a special dessert waiting for you. You do it quietly. And then of course you do what's called nirtzah, that you add all the rest of the psalms and whatever we read at the end. And that's where the Seder is over. That's when we say Chal Seder Pesach, and we wish to each other L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. I explained that the last class. It's not that we're wishing ourselves for next year to move to Yerushalayim. There are 800,000 people live in Yerushalayim, and they also say L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. It says, Shana haba b'Yerushalayim b'nei chorin, that the next entire year I will be in the level of freedom. Needless to say, after that, you don't want to just wrap it up and get up and leave. It's a very, very special night. You want to stay up, you want to read Shir HaShirim, you want to read a little bit Tehillim, whatever, you want to learn Torah. The custom is to stay up and read and learn Torah till you fall asleep on the table. That's when you know, okay, now it's time to go to bed. It's not the night that you want to go to sleep early. It's a night that such a godly light shines that you don't want to go to sleep. You go to sleep when you fall asleep. And you want to take the time after the Seder, not to talk, not to catch up, not to schmooze with family or friends. It's a night that you read whatever you're able to read. If you know how to read the language of Hebrew, read Zohar at the night of Leil Seder, after Leil Seder. Definitely read Shir HaShirim. I spoke about it 2 classes ago, about Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs by King Solomon. And whatever you can read. But that's not the night to go to sleep early. You can tap into this unbelievable godly light that will allow you to battle your challenges for the rest of the year. It will allow you to go out of your own Mitzrayim for the rest of the year. It will allow you to tap into the energy that for the next 7 weeks you can start refining your midot. And throughout the Sfirat HaOmer we will learn a lot about that. But if you miss the first night, you didn't get on the train. If you miss the train, it doesn't matter if you read Sfirat HaOmer. You have to tap into the first night. Why? Because that's where you birth the midot from the mochin, by eating the wine, eating the matzah, drinking the wine, following the order. If you miss that, you're missing the mochin in the sfirot. We have to refine now the sfirot. If you remember 3 classes ago, we spoke about that the 10 plagues were corresponding to the 10 sfirot. And every plague had to refine 1 sfira and to get the neshama 1 level out. So I mentioned that the sfirot, the plagues go from the sfirot from bottom and up. Blood was corresponding to Malchut, and Yesod was corresponding to the tzfardea, to the frog, all the way up to Makat Bechorot, which correspond to Keter. So we went through that already again. But if I don't do it the right way, I can't skip a level. I have to start from the intellect, from the mochin, on the night of Leil Seder. That's when I'm able to start refining my midot. To be able to refine 49 vessels, 49 kelim, that then the time when I come to Shavuot, I can receive the Torah. And I can receive it in a way that it will affect my neshama. So you want to take the entire Seder very serious. It starts now. Now when you clean the chametz, we still have 3 days. What do we have? 4 days almost. Cleaning the chametz, searching the chametz, a nullification of the chametz, burning the chametz, all these stages, this is removing the klippah. You cannot start doing anything in holiness if there's a klippah there. So you have to take it into the level and the extent and the severity that you actually, what you're doing now is what you wish to do the entire year. The entire year is saying, I wish I wouldn't have this desire now for this thing. I wish I didn't have this weakness for this thing. I wish I would be able to battle these thoughts that I have. All year long, that's what you're wishing for yourself. But this is the week plus that you can actually achieve it. This is the week that you can clean, you burn the chametz, you burn the klippah. Monday morning we're burning the klippah, that's it. 12 o'clock afternoon on Monday, there's no klippah in the universe, it's clean. You cleaned it out. I burned it, I don't have anything anymore. No chametz. Now it's time to pull in this light. So 7 days in Pesach, every day in Chol HaMoed, we're refining already the first sfira of Chesed. Yeah, we go to Gvura Shebechesed, Tiferet Shebechesed, but it's in Chesed. And every day in that week is extremely powerful to tap in, to derive this energy that will last for the entire year. That's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on that I have now an auspicious time to tap in. I mean, during the year, one person will be lazy, he can't get up. Another person will be lazy, he doesn't want to say Birkat Hamazon. Another person will be lazy, doesn't want to pray. We all have some type of a laziness for something. We're not perfect. And then I have all sorts of weaknesses. One person will have a weakness, eats chocolate all day long. Another person has a weakness, drinks wine every opportunity. Every person has a weakness. And then we have also undesired things that we desire, very bad things, for forbidden things. So we battle it throughout the year. Because my neshama is in Mitzrayim. But I have to reveal my neshama to take it out of its limitation, that I don't battle that. I don't want to battle that. I want to be free. I want to be free of my thoughts, free of my emotions. I want to be free of whatever I desire that is forbidden. I want to be free. I want to be in control. Free is in control. That I am in control of the situation. I can go backwards and forth in front of the bakery, and I don't care that the smell is unbelievable of the rogalach that came out of the oven right now. I want to be in control. And I know it sounds like a basic thing, but if you can control the rogalach, you can control the serious things. If you can't control the basic things, you'll never control the big things. So Pesach is the time that I can skip over all these bad things, and my entire next year coming to me will be reshaped completely different. I told you in the class of Nisan that in the first 14 days of Nisan is decided all the battles that I'm going to have to fight in the next coming year is decided in the first 14 days of Nisan. Whatever battle is going to be, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. I have a list of battles. I was created to fight battles. Excuse me?
You just canceled it all.
Yeah. No, you don't necessarily, listen, we're all going to have battles and challenges. But it can be big challenges and it can be small challenges. I want it to be small challenges. Why? I'm not looking for a headache. I'm not looking to have big challenges. I will have challenges. We have to, that's part of the game. But let the challenge be the rogalach and not something else. And let the challenge be something simple and not now dealing now with my child, with my spouse, with my whatever it is. But I do have to go through challenges. That's what we explained in the class of the month of Nisan, that the star that controls the month is Ma'adim, is Mars, and Mars is wars. But you have negative wars, and you also have wars, positive wars. And I want to have positive battles in my life, and then I'm able to overcome them. So it's a very auspicious time. We have to take it serious and make sure that I charge my neshama for the rest of the year, because that is the time. Nisan is the Rosh Chodesh, is the original Rosh Chodesh. We think that Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the year, but Nisan is the beginning of the spiritual year. And now it's when it starts. So we're already 10 days in, and I want to make sure that this month is done the right way. Bezrat Hashem. We only have left now at this point is to wish you a Chag Pesach Kasher v'Sameach. Should have a beautiful holiday. It should be kosher. Should be happy. And a lot of you will see Bezrat Hashem in our Seder. The classes will start right after Pesach. Follow the announcements, because after Pesach, I know the last month we were constantly Pesach, Pesach, Pesach. Next month we're going to start learning a lot about Sfirat HaOmer. We'll go a little bit more into next level of studying, so we can learn a little bit more about the Sfirot and more about the worlds and the elements in our neshama. We're going to have an interesting 7 weeks, Bezrat Hashem. So have a beautiful, happy and kosher Pesach, and we'll see you, Bezrat Hashem, after Pesach, or in Leil Seder.